Welcome to our daily reflection for this Saturday, April 20th. And in the first reading of Acts, and I love that we go through Acts of the Apostles every Eastertide, the church is inviting us to go back to the very beginnings of the church, these exciting days when the Holy Spirit was very active in filling the lives of the apostles with great deeds and great faith. And of course, the church takes us to that to remind us that the Holy Spirit's still active today and that our faith and our love in Christ can be activated by the Holy Spirit. And one of the terms that happens here, it talks about the church being built up and growing in numbers. And it says that, as the church has this fear and walks in the fear of the Lord and has this peace, it says that the church was filled with the consolation of the Holy Spirit. I love that imagery that the church and the early disciples were filled with the consolation of the Holy Spirit. Our hearts long for happiness. And what we really long for and what we do to feed that desire for happiness is we desire consolations. And sometimes we look for consolation in food, in drink, in entertainment, sometimes in friendships and relationships. And that's a little bit better, obviously. But what really brings consolation is when we seek consolation in the Holy Spirit. When we seek the consolation of the Holy Spirit, of God abiding in us. That is the true consolation that gives fruit to deep peace. So the peace that the church experienced comes from finding and seeking their consolation in the Holy Spirit. I want us to reflect today in our prayer time especially about how we find consolation in God, in the Holy Spirit, and how we try to seek consolation in other things, but those consolations are very passing. They don't last. And they oftentimes don't bear the fruit of peace. And so that's what the consolations of the Holy Spirit do. So we really want to seek that consolation. Now there's a great story here of Peter coming to Joppa, and he finds out about a woman named Dorcas or Tabitha. And she was known for her almsgiving. And then she gets sick and she actually dies, and Peter goes up and prays over her. And everyone tells Peter how they show her all the garments she made to give to the poor and to others in need, and that she was always doing good deeds and always being selfless and giving and generous and known for her almsgiving. And then Peter prays over her and raises her from the dead, which is an extraordinary thing. And this is an amazing sign. And then many people come in Joppa to believe in Jesus Christ because of what Peter does here with Tabitha. But part of the lesson for us is that we have the story at the end of Acts 9, and then Acts 10 begins with the story of somebody else who is known, Cornelius, for his almsgiving. And I think one of the points of the story for us is almsgiving and generosity leads to resurrection. If we too want to make it through death and out the other side to resurrection with Christ, we need to be known by our generosity. Love and the generosity that love generates leads to conquering death, right? What is the one power that gets us through death? Well, it's Jesus Christ and the love of God. Love conquers all. It even conquers death. And love is manifest in generosity, in giving, and here, almsgiving. So let's pursue during this Eastertide season, as we're filled with the mercy and love of God, a greater generosity. And let's reflect today how we can become more generous and what we can give and who in our life needs help that we can give today. And may that giving lead to a love that lasts forever in resurrection. May the Lord bless and keep you. And I want to thank all of you who are generous to us in the Mission Circle or in any donations you give to the Augustine Institute. And speaking of almsgiving, your giving to us in our mission makes a big difference. It helps us empower our ministry to share the good news with others. Thank you for doing that. God bless.